And Conor McGregor can say what he wants, but he won't fight me either. So once I knock out Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, let's run it. But you won't do it because you know what's going to happen. You saw what I did to Nate Diaz, who you went toe-to-toe with. So Conor McGregor, lay off the cocaine, get in the gym, and start winning fights, and then maybe we could have a conversation.
Jake Paul just destroyed Conor McGregor, or at least he thinks he did, while casually sitting on a podcast with Logan Paul. The man outright claimed Conor avoided fighting him because Jake is too strong.
My life is my life. Your life is your life. I'm going to take these opportunities. When we as brothers no longer become additive to each other, and it feels like you or I are trying to take from one another.
But when it's convenient for you, we're brothers. But then when it's not, you do the exact opposite of like, we're completely separate. So like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do as well.
Seriously, what does that even mean? Is Jake subtly insulting his own brother for being the weaker option? Or is he so obsessed with himself that he genuinely believes the only reason people make decisions is to avoid his imaginary dominance?
Why doesn't he just get in the ring with you?
But that's what I was saying is he's on Twitter, he's on his yacht, he's on cocaine, but he's not in the ring with me.
Here's the reality check he seems to have missed. Conor McGregor has ruled the fight world for over 16 years. The man doesn't need to throw a punch to trend. His cauliflower ear alone could probably rack up more likes than Jake's entire fight reel. But hey, credit where it's due. Jake's audacity levels are unmatched. Let's break down this circus, shall we?
McGregor making headlines, but not for an octagon return. So the rumors of a bout are false. I'm a preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I've agreed I will then seek my return to the octagon.
Now don't tell me you haven't heard about Logan versus Conor. Let me enlighten you. Conor McGregor just dropped a bombshell announcement that's turning heads everywhere. He's gearing up for a boxing exhibition match against Logan Paul. And here's the twist. It's happening in India, with none other than the Ambani family backing the whole spectacle. Yeah, those Ambanis. The billionaires who don't just throw parties. They build kingdoms while they're at it. You'd think that would be the highlight, right? Wrong. Enter Jake Paul, the self-appointed spokesperson for, well, Jake Paul.
And Conor McGregor can say what he wants, but he won't fight me either. So
as soon as Jake caught wind of this grand announcement, he wasted no time doing what he does best, stirring the pot. Conor's washed, he declared, as casually as if he were commenting on the weather. And then, for dramatic effect, he hit us with, he needs the Pauls for relevance. Because why stop at a jab when you can go full uppercut?
Obviously, I don't think he's ready to be back in the UFC. I think he will get his ass kicked thoroughly.
Yep.
These fighters are elite. They take this very seriously, and their definition of being in shape and ready to fight isn't bloating themselves up with muscles and looking good in the mirror.
But let's give the guy credit. He's got a point buried under all that bravado. McGregor, once the undisputed king of the fight game, hasn't exactly been delivering highlight reels lately. It's been years since he had a win that actually mattered. And Jake thinks Conor's clinging to the remnants of a reputation that's fading faster than a cheap tattoo.
My life is my life. Your life is your life. I'm going to take these opportunities. When we as brothers no longer become additive to each other, and it feels like you or I are trying to take from one another.
But when it's convenient for you, we're brothers. But then when it's not, you do the exact opposite of like, we're completely separate. So like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do as well.
And the real head scratcher? Logan Paul. Of all the people Conor could face, why pick someone whose boxing resume is about as serious as a TikTok dance challenge? Jake has a theory, of course. McGregor's playing it safe. He's taking the path of least resistance. And according to Jake, he's ruining his legacy while he's at it.
He's on cocaine, but he's not in the ring with me. And so until he does that, I don't want to hear any more shit.
Wait, what was what's the injury again? He broke a toe?
And because Jake Paul never stops at just one mic drop, he went for the jugular with a juicy counterclaim. Apparently, McGregor initially wanted to fight him. That's right, Jake Paul, not Logan. But somewhere along the way, McGregor allegedly changed course. Why? Well, if you ask Jake, it's because Conor doesn't have the chops to face him. No skills, no grit, no confidence, just an empty whiskey bottle and some distant memories of past glory. So instead, Conor chose the safer route and landed on Logan, a move Jake dismissed with one word: irrelevant.
Yeah, he's a broken man, but he's entertaining, and that's why I still like Conor McGregor. But
No, he's the most entertaining.
Well, yeah,
no,
but
he's the most entertaining.
And so is Ryan Garcia, but they're both crashed out
Jake,
cokeheads.
come on. There's a big difference.
I don't know. It's pretty.
But Jake didn't just toss out insults and walk away. Oh no, he set the stage for a showdown that could redefine the word hype. If McGregor wants to face him, Jake made it clear that it's going to be on his terms. He called out Dana White and the UFC to make it official. No shady deals, no under-the-table contracts. Big money, big lights, big stakes. And honestly, it's a masterstroke. Jake's essentially calling Conor's bluff. If McGregor still thinks he's the king, why wouldn't he step up? Unless, of course, Jake's right, and Conor's not ready for a real fight.
It's pure entertainment.
Yeah.
It's an exhibition. It isn't Jake Paul training with professional boxers, essentially being a professional boxer, but getting in the ring with non-boxers or geriatric dudes.
Let's break it down. McGregor's last meaningful win was way back in January 2020. Remember that 40-second knockout of Donald Cerrone? Sure, it was flashy, but since then, a big fat nothing. The so-called notorious one has been, well, notoriously absent from the winner's circle. Fast forward to 2021 and McGregor takes on Dustin Poirier. Not once, but twice, and eats back-to-back losses. The trilogy bout? Oh, that was just the cherry on top, ending with McGregor snapping his leg like a twig in the first round. And that injury? It benched him for over 3 years.
And not only that, Michael Chandler has been calling him out forever. Desperately wants his hands on Conor McGregor because he knows that would be a big fight, obviously, and it's something that he wants, and that hasn't happened yet. We haven't seen Conor McGregor win a fight. I mean, he beat Donald Cerrone, Cowboy Cerrone. Cerrone looked like a deer in headlights, as I pointed out that night.
And if that wasn't enough, we've got the Michael Chandler fiasco. McGregor's grand UFC comeback was all set for June 2024. Fans were buzzing. Media hype was through the roof. And then, poof, he pulled out 2 weeks before the fight. No explanation, no reschedule. Just another mysterious question mark in a career that's starting to look more like a quiz than a legacy. Jake Paul, of course, wasted no time calling him out, painting him as unreliable and completely out of touch with the sport he once ruled. Now, let's flip the script to Jake Paul.
Once I knock out Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, let's run it, but you won't do it because you know what's going to happen. You saw what I did to Nate Diaz, who you went toe-to-toe with. So Conor McGregor, lay off the cocaine, get in the gym, and start winning fights, and then maybe we could have a conversation.
Say what you will about the guy, but he's not just keeping himself relevant, he's thriving. Jake's been headlining major events, taking on legitimate opponents, and most importantly, delivering. Remember his knockout of Ben Askren in 2021? Or the time he went the distance with Anderson Silva in 2022? And don't even get me started on his recent victory over Mike Tyson in 2024. Jake's not just staying in the game, he's dominating it. Meanwhile, McGregor's legacy is starting to feel like a dusty old trophy, sitting on a shelf no one looks at anymore.
You can box. Stop fighting people that ain't on your level. That's not right. Enough of that. He said, true, I know I got stuff to prove. I got to get in there. Enough of that. Yeah. This is not what Logan Paul's doing. Logan Paul's an entertainer who's gotten in the ring a few times, but he's an entertainer. Conor McGregor is not a boxer. He just got in a boxing ring once.
And then there's Logan Paul. Of all the people McGregor could pick for his return to boxing, why Logan? Jake's got an answer for that, and it's as cutting as you'd expect. Logan's boxing record might be shiny on the outside, but it's pretty hollow when you look closer. Sure, there's the 2019 draw with KSI and that exhibition against Floyd Mayweather in 2021, but let's be real. Those were more about the show than the sport. Logan's resume is lighter than a feather, which makes him the perfect opponent for a McGregor who can't afford to risk another loss. It's not about the challenge, it's about playing it safe.
For all the wrong reasons, and then now to
Without
return
question.
for this, I just feel like it hurts his legacy.
Well, wait a minute. He ain't think about no damn legacy. He ain't come back to the States. His brother in India. You know what I'm saying? They ain't think about any of that stuff.
Mean?
I'm just saying, they're not thinking about it in India. He going to get the money.
Jake didn't mince words here. Logan beats him however he wants, he said, waving off the fight as nothing more than a puffed-up exhibition. To Jake, This isn't McGregor taking on Logan for the love of competition. Nope, this is McGregor clinging to relevance like a guy holding on to the last slice of pizza at a party. It's calculated, sure, but it reeks of desperation. Let's get into the mess, starting with McGregor's legal sagas. Back in 2018, he was found liable for assaulting a woman named Nikita Hand at a Dublin hotel. This wasn't some quiet, forgettable scandal. This was courtroom drama splashed all over the tabloids. And sadly, it was just the beginning. Over the years, McGregor's personal life became a walking, talking tabloid headline. Assaults, outbursts, questionable tweets. It's like he's more committed to the chaos than to his career.
I'm not talking about what they're deciding.
I don't know if he cares. I don't know if he cares.
He doesn't.
I don't think he cares.
You don't think it hurts his legacy?
I don't think he cares.
No, I'm asking you. Do you think it?
I think his legacy has been hurt, Shannon, over the last few years getting his ass kicked.
And that is why Jake Paul isn't playing games this time. He's drawn a line in the sand. And if Conor McGregor wants to cross it, Dana White and the UFC need to be part of the deal. By dragging the UFC into the mix, Jake isn't just raising the stakes, he's shining a floodlight on McGregor's current reality. And here's the kicker. If McGregor hesitates or bails, Jake's already planted the seed in everyone's mind. Fear. Now let's talk about the F word. Fear. It's not something you'd traditionally associate with McGregor, the guy who built an empire on fearlessness and bravado. But Jake's flipping the narrative. He's asking a question everyone's been too polite or too scared to ask. Why would a fighter like McGregor, once the ultimate risk taker, avoid stepping into a UFC-sanctioned fight with Jake? Jake's answer? Simple. Conor doesn't want the smoke. He's had a rough few years. Injuries, losses, court cases, and the last thing he needs is a fight that could pull back the curtain on just how far his star has fallen.
He said, with him, I'm going to. He said he's a striker. He's used to clipping people. He said, I'm going to be in his chest. He's going to have to push me off and then swing. He said, plus he's going to have to circle around backwards to gain leverage to punch. He said by about the third or fourth round, his legs are going to be gone and he'll be target practice. He said, I'll keep him around until like the 8th or the 9th round for entertainment purposes, and then I'll finish him.
And Jake? He's not just all talk. His track record speaks for itself. Love him or hate him, he's been shaking up the fight world in ways that leave purists fuming and audiences glued to their screens. Jake turned combat sports into his playground, pulling big names like Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley into his orbit. Let's be real, they didn't sign up because they were bored. The bigger question here is this: what does McGregor even want from his career anymore? Is he looking to rebuild, climb the UFC ranks, and reclaim his throne? Or is he content with this weird limbo of headline-grabbing exhibitions and social media scraps? Jake Paul's rise has turned these questions from whispers into full-blown debates.